Hey everybody, it's Mark again, and this is exactly the reason why I hate snow and ice in my area. They knew about it for several days, but did they do anything about it? No, they didn't. They could have salted the roads. They could have a snowplow out right now. Not that a snowplow would do any good, but they could have salted the roads. And this is why I hate snow and ice. And I have somebody on my tail, you know, this is nothing but ice. And I have my truck in automatic four-wheel drive, so I feel safe. Except for the other drivers. The other drivers will cause an accident. Just passed a road grader coming my way. They're not doing a lot of good because it's ice, but they should have salted the roads. I'm doing 30 miles an hour. This is Highway 142 going toward Doniphan. This reminds me when I was stationed at my first duty station, Medina Air Force Base, Texas, which is an annex off of Kelly Air Force Base. It's where you shot your M16 during basic training. I worked the munitions area, but anyway, in 1984, 1985, San Antonio got their worst snowstorm in history. A friend of mine always took a airplane to go to San Angelo to be with his girlfriend, and because they shut down the airline stations, he was depressed, so I told him I would take him to see his girlfriend, which is typically only about a 3 or 4 hour drive. But like I said, it was the worst snowstorm ever. I was in my Chevy Chevette. Him and another friend of mine, Scott Paradis, was in the car with me. They were both sleeping. I was driving. We hit a sheet of black ice. Did a 360 degrees in the road. I was only doing about 30, maybe 40 miles an hour when we hit this sheet of black ice. My angel was looking after me that day because when I stopped in the road, I was facing the right direction and a car coming the other way just passed us. So slow down, be careful. I'm only doing 30 miles an hour in a 45 mile zone. Expected to get 2 to 4 inches of this stuff, and I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow where I have to have a COVID test because I'm having a procedure on the 27th, and that procedure requires me to be COVID free, so I have to go to urgent care, Poplar Bluff VA tomorrow, and have them stick a cotton swab up my nose for a COVID test. I'm looking forward to that procedure, that's for sure. And as you can see, the roads in most places are white. So, there's my speed limit. 55 mile zone, and I'm doing 25 and 30. That's how you drive around in this stuff. Be careful. May God bless each and every one of you. And Lucas, this is for you. If I live 12 miles away from town, and I'm in town, driving home, doing 25 and 30 miles an hour, how long does it take for me to get home? One last story. When I was stationed in my last duty station, Abilene, Texas, from 2000 to 2003, in that time frame, Abilene got their worst snowstorm in history. They got 4 inches of ice. It was Christmas time frame. I took the Christmas holidays off, and after Christmas I had to go back to work. That night they got 4 inches of ice. I woke up, called my boss, asked him if I had to go to work. He said yes. What normally took me 10 to 15 minutes worth of driving time to get to work, I gave myself an hour. I was in town, Chevy S10 truck. There was a guy stuck at a light. I was about a half a block from that guy. I could have got out and walked faster than what I was driving. Hitting my brakes, my truck ran into his truck. Police were called, no fault tickets. Nobody was given a ticket due to the weather. A tow truck took me to work. By the time I got to work, nobody was there. Everybody was going home. One last co-worker gave me a ride back to my house. They later said that only non-essential personnel had to go to work in a case like that. My job was a non-essential personnel job. That cost me, because my truck hit his truck, my insurance had to pay for it. It cost me about $400 or more. Next 3 years of insurance records, my insurance went up. I made a complaint through the legal department. They turned me down. I would have had to hire a lawyer. It wasn't worth my money to hire a lawyer. I just let it go. We had friends who came over the night before the ice storm and were playing cards. He worked at the prison. They stayed the night. He called up his boss and said he wasn't coming to work. In the military, you can't do that. If I would have called up my boss and said I'm not coming to work, they would have sent the police after me and I would have been put in jail. So being in the military is totally different from being in civilian life. You just can't do what you want to do, even in a case like that, when it was not a very wise decision for me to go to work. But that day, so many accidents occurred that they later changed their policy to say in a case like that, only essential personnel had to come to work. People like the hospital, security police. My job was a non-essential job. That's enough of that story. I'm almost home. And I have to get over this great big hill that I'm fixing to have to go to. It's 5:30 and it's still coming down. We got about 2 inches already. So that's just my rough guess. It's still come down pretty hard. So everybody's supposed to get a white Christmas this year.